where maybe as that starts and that rhythm starts and it's like, you don't get to control when it comes, which is what is our the hard part, I feel like, for all of us. But that surrender to just like, oh, it's going to be in this rhythm, it's going to be a ritual, and I'm going to find ways to relax through it. So those are the 3 R's. And that's really the trajectory of labor, is you have that until that's the whole first stage, until you get to the second stage of pushing. And it's sometimes very fluid. It's just, you're doing that rhythm, ritual relaxation, and we're all just supporting you. We're, moving, eating, drinking, sleeping, dancing, walking, all through that until, or wherever it happens, it's like, maybe it's through the sound a woman's making, or maybe it's just a touch on the body. It's like, like, it sounds like the body is trying to just start to like, or mom is just like, I just want to be on the toilet. Like, I just have to, that rectal pressure. So it's just like pressure. It's pressure waves, and the pressure just gets lower and lower and lower until a woman's body is like, so that's it. And that's the mystery also of how long it takes to get to that place, when, what the trajectory is for that opening of the cervix to go from that Cheerio to a bagel. I thought I had my little cervical thing, but
right there.
it's right there, yeah. So, and that's, that can be, we go in childbirth education, there's like, oh, there's early labor, active labor, there's all these things, and that's just to give us language. But, normally this 6 centimeters is now considered more, that's the active labor. So I like to call it more just like phases. So then in terms of the comfort, it's really like collecting for the senses what helps you relax. And yes, like I will have different oils that are for different things, but it's also what you feel, is more important than, like, you're not gonna, I've never seen with the aromatherapy someone drawn to a certain smell that is uplifting and then their baby's not dropping, so, but there's some grounding oils that are more pulling, and so I like to sort of just see in this time, like, this is your lab to start to collect, what are the smells I like, what are the things I like to have me be comfortable, and then there'll be a whole bunch during labor too. So so I wanted to just start with that, because whatever we use with the rebosos, whatever massage, whatever position, finding the rhythm seems to be, what helps the body dissipate. Because, if you feel a strong pressure and you want to just be like, I'm just gonna, it feels harder than if you, like, just, move the hips a little bit in a rhythm, in a ritual. And so I want us to play around with that. I think what we'll do is I think maybe we could, in the last part, we'll get some ice and we'll find some certain things to practice and feel and give feedback. And then towards the end, maybe we can just do some, like, having the ice and seeing how some of those feel with holding the ice. But everything I really want us to do is to feel good now, anyway, so that being said, the thing I do like about balls, and these little balls are great too, because they give feedback. So if you, this is all also really good to use after for pelvic floor. We're saying there's a pelvic floor specialist. A lot of the pelvic floor people use this. So let's have each person have a ball. This is mine. It's a smaller a smaller one, but these can work too. But you can take some of the air out if you want, and go ahead and sit on it, put it on kind of your perineum. You can kind of just move it around a little bit. So the good thing about, in postpartum, you can actually feel your pelvic floor to give feedback to. You can feel it now too, but just having that buoyancy, you can sit too. Because these are good for the pelvis, first of all, to also be up a little bit. We were talking about the psoas and with all the driving you're doing. I shake this in the car sometimes, and I even deflate it a little more, just so I'm a little bit higher than my knees. So, yeah, so just, since we can go ahead and just do some spirals, and that's what I do notice, is that the energy, the most swiftest labors I'm at are when the mom is spiraling, because that's what the baby's doing. And I've had a mom be induced, first baby, no labor, needed just like a little bit of Pitocin, we turned it off, and every contraction, she was sitting on this was in the hospital, she was sitting on a ball, leaning over the hospital. I put my hands under, I want to show you guys that too, like on her sits bones, and just followed her spiraling. And that was her ritual. And it was maybe 6 hours.
We did this on the retreat where we did the coffee grinding, like spiraling like this for like 45 minutes, and it was like the voice that came in, and people were really vocalizing and releasing. There was catharsis. Couldn't believe how powerful that practice was.
Your friend's retreat.
Yeah, it was like a kundalini. It was almost like a kundalini activation or something with the spine. Because when you do that motion,
So look, this is your pelvis, and I don't have my baby doll. The toddler kept the last one. Anyway, but so imagine like how the baby has to also spiral. Like just keeping this moving makes it more fluid. And so also imagine these sit bones under here. Imagine as that pressure is going down, if somebody kind of lifts up and follows.
So I went on the ball. That's so interesting.
So like you just stay there if you have permission to touch, and it will feel very intimate. Mary's going to show you another way how to. Like for me, the bottom. You traditionally you hear people say like, oh, when you have a baby, it feels like you have to poop, and all that rectal pressure. So will you hold up that pelvis again? So, if like you're spiraling, if you spiral, and I'm not really doing much pressure.
Yeah.
So imagine if you feel this strong wave that is bringing, almost like if it was a deep massage and it was pressure
down.
And because what I see naturally is during a wave, I see women's shoulders go up
to get away from it.
Yeah. So if you go down into it,
it invites you to versus try to move away from it.
And then you also you're just following. You're just following that wave.
Oh, interesting.
I just want to show you what it feels like when I'm doing Joel.
Yep.
Are you okay with me touching your butt? And I love how Ina McGaskin, the midwife who has the farm, talks about the sphincter and how if you even try to squeeze your sphincter and laugh at the same time, you can't really, or if you're, I think, playing around with the exhale, so with breath. If you visualize and practice the exhale, which I'm not really on your sit bone, so I'm just using it.
Is there a better leg position when you're in this position, like out to the sides versus cross?
That's a good question, because as you see with the pelvis there, if however you move your legs will affect kind of what happens. So you can try like bringing one foot up like you were just about to do, yeah, like sort of here. And this can be done on the bigger ball too. We were just sitting here on the floor. How does that feel?
Yeah.
So what helps is it also does counter pressure with the baby's head coming down. It's like I'm lifting up, and you have all the cocktail of hormones that the labor's bringing, you know, so.
And are you just lifting up, or are you lifting up and out?
I'm just lifting up. Sometimes I kind of squeeze in a little bit.
Yeah. Interesting.
So simple.
If you are open to Angie trying, to experience touch. This is the area that, to me, in pregnancy is also doing all the work, because you can't use your core. So like in here, it just feels so good to, you know, keep relaxing in your bottom, because that's, yeah. So you can, so just having like each day.
Is that comfortable for your hands
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, I've been doing that on the ball since I got it.
Oh,
It's really
great.
good.
Great.
It releases.
And,
And you can pull up even, like that.
Carmen,
Yeah, I
you said
like-
there are like different times and places for different kinds of counter pressure, depending on like what kinds of contractions during what
that's a
stage of
good,
labor?
yeah, that's a good question too,
Yeah.
but, I feel like in the early stage of labor, what happens is you might not feel a huge amount of rectal pressure. You might, but it's not like that. What you're looking for in terms of things shifting is the pressure you're feeling gets stronger and stronger in the bottom, not stronger, deeper, you know, and then the contractions get closer together. But what, you know, basically when your body starts pushing, it's because you're completely open. You don't even really need to check.
Sure.
But what happens is that pressure in between the waves doesn't go away.
Got it.
And then your body, once you have the urge to push, you have a contraction, and you might just be breathing during each one, or you might be making sounds, but what happens at the very end is, you know, what we notice is we feel it in your body, and sometimes the mother just kind of is going, you know?
Just like letting
And-
go, like allowing. and
Yeah,
letting
because the
energy in.
uterus is pushing.
Right.
And in a contraction, this is all tight, and then it softens. You know, you can feel the difference, even though right now I'm sure you feel like it just feels all tight. But it actually is pretty, you know.
Sure.
And then, so in between, this is what we can go ahead and start to incorporate right now too, is a welcoming breath to me when you feel the wave is so important, because you feel it coming before we even know you have it. And so that's that build. So if you feel it coming, you can prepare your mind, you're gonna welcome it, you're gonna say, yes, I want this. Whatever mantra you wanna say, whatever connection that you can practice now of welcoming that wave coming in, because that's what's bringing your baby in, and it's what your body is doing. You know, so the mind will be like, wait, I'm not in that position I want to be in. So if the ritual, maybe one of the rituals you've set up is to spiral, you feel that wave coming, so you do a cleansing breath. Let your shoulders drop. I'm emptying out. I'm welcoming in this pressure wave, and you know it's going to build. So it's really a practice, you know, and you know when it gets to the top, you're going to be like, it's the most intense, but you know it's then going to come back down. And your mind might be looking to, like, once it gets to the top, like, it might be loud with, I don't know if I can do this, oh, this is really hard, or whatever they say. You want to counteract that with, yes, I can do this, yes. So be thinking of what that mantra can be. You know, it can be, just the way you self-talk to yourself, like write it out on cards, put it around, you know, so that we can also tell you that too. And Joel can tell you, and Jacob can tell you. It's like a script. And then, yeah, so there's also many ways, like Maggie, who was in our training yesterday, I was at her, she had a very long labor, 36 hours, and she did a lot of it. She would be maybe walking around or doing something, and a contraction would come. She's also teaches yoga and is a yogi. And she just sat in her bed, kind of like this. She had just gotten to this pose, and you can try this now too. And in fact, feel your sit bones, if you want to just kind of rock on your sit bones. And she did that cleansing breath. And that's how we all knew too what was coming. Like, this is the thing that Joel, you'll also get to see, is you won't have to say, are you having one? Because then that brings her in her mind, you know, or if you're helping her time, maybe a few of them, you won't have to say, should I time it? Should I? You'll just be like, oh, she just did the cleansing breath.
Right.
And so that means one's coming. And then, so Maggie, I call it the jiggle, because she would, every contraction, she would just, so just trying that exhale to really empty out. Empty out the mind, even if it's self-talking.
And feel the connection with your lips and with your throat. So close your eyes and just
And I just call it like the jiggle. You're jiggling your baby down. So this motion is a kind of really good way to remind yourself this is a rhythm your body is doing that's connected with your baby and the cosmos and all the guardians that both of you that are surrounding you both. And you feel things tighten, just stick your tongue out, feel it unwind from the root, just like your baby is unwinding down. And then when it's starting to subside, a deep breath. That one's over. And you'll start to feel the rhythm of that. You'll start to get good at, like, oh, you know, the first couple might be like, oh, and Joel will be going, let's call Carmen. But, you know, like, it will just start to be like, you'll find those different rituals and those different, and when the mind is, you know, there's also sometimes we have to deal with what the mind is. So that's what also we're addressing, of like any questions or what was that or how did this, you know. And sometimes those waves come and it's like not a, like, oh, I don't like this position. But it really, it's really like, just go through that one. Just know, like, it's a wave. I'm going to get through this wave. And then I'm going to get to that deep part of the ocean and resource. The way Mary's sitting on the peanut ball is also a great thing. Even with the rebosos, let's go ahead, Mary, and have you, like, since we're just right now focusing on some of the, like, the butt area, the pelvic floor. And Joel, I know you did ask, like, well, when do we do this at what part of the labor? You know, we're in the earlier phase of the labor. If you don't need to use a tool, you don't need to use a tool,
Right.
you know?
Yeah,
So I don't want you to feel like, oh, we have to do all these things. Or, you know, it's really like you are gonna, you know, the mamas are gonna have us follow what they're feeling, what they need.
Sure.
So it's not so much about, I just kind of check in with the bottom throughout.
Of course.
Because if it is feeling like a lot of pressure there, and I also just want to, like, guide the energy to go that way. So that's why we have a saying with the sounds, make sounds that are low and your baby will go. No babies are going anytime. Not before 38 weeks. Just while we're practicing, and do want to, like, put that protective ring around. We're gonna be saying language with, like, open, yes, come out, and that's just yeah. So, but while we're kind of on this area, With the reboso, this is the great thing too, like if our arms, we can be tag teaming with the partners, but if the mom is like, yes, I want that pressure on the back or the butt area every wave, the rebosos are extensions of our